Welcome to the Seagull podcast, the only show where a Palace fan and a Brighton fan can talk football without needing protective headgear.
I'm Brighton, he's Palace, neighbours, rivals and somehow still on speaking terms.
This week we've got plenty to squabble over. The Palace Europa League saga lives on. Will UEFA ever make their mind up? And we've got the latest transfer news for both clubs. Who's in, who's out, and who's pretending to love the badge until someone richer comes along.
Then it's time for the big one, a deep dive into the rivalry that keeps this podcast alive. Why are we all meant to hate each other? Well, we take a look.
So stick around, because this is Seagull Eagle. Hello Neil, how are you?
Hello, mate. I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
I'm all right, actually. Yeah, I'm all right. It's been a busy week off the pod. But
yeah, you've been very busy, haven't you?
Yeah. Lots of kind of here and there. But also, it's been a bit of a quiet week again from a Palace perspective.
Oh, don't you worry about that. I've got plenty to talk about from a Seagulls point of view. So,
I bet you have. I bet you have. Yeah, so Palace fans, stick with us. There will be a fun week coming up, I'm sure, where something actually happens.
There's plenty to talk about, to be fair, from both sides. But I know what you mean. Not so much the fun stuff for you, maybe more serious things and other stuff. But
still plenty of content, though,
absolutely,
Neil, of course. Just not quite the amount of transfers or that big piece of news I was hoping to announce tonight. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, I think probably the first place to start. Oh, actually, before we do get into the real football stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Just want to say thank you to a few people because we've had quite a few listeners this week, haven't we?
Oh, that's an understatement. We for some, I don't know what's happened, but do you know what? When we started this podcast, right, you kept saying to me, let's stick with it because it kind of snowballs, and the more you do it, it kind of just slowly and slowly grows.
Yeah.
Slowly and slowly grows. And last week we doubled the amount of listeners that we got, which is insane.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Insane. Them two people that are listening, thank you so much.
So much, thank you.
There's people listening all around the world, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. We've gained some more listeners as far afield as Japan.
No way.
Absolutely, yeah. So I wanted to try this. Right, brace yourself. Here we go.
Okay.
Konnichiwa to them and arigato for listening.
Wow.
Tried my best.
Mate, that's amazing. Could potentially be the only podcast they listened to was last week's after that.
Well, anyway, all
thanks
around
for
the world.
listening.
Exactly. Oh, thank you for listening.
I think we've got people in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Australia.
Spain.
Yeah. Couple people from Brighton, lots of people from London.
Thank you for those listening in Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah, all over the shop. Oh, and I want to say a little special hello to Chloe as well, another Albion fan who's not as far away as Japan, but she did send us a lovely message recently. So thank you for messaging and listening in. Really appreciate it, Chloe.
Wow, and we had loads of people commenting on some kind of posts as well. I know I'm closer to kind of the Facebook, you're a little bit closer to Twitter, but we still try and comment together on things as they come in. And the lots and lots of really nice comments on it. Do you know what? It actually reiterates why you do this, right?
Yeah.
When you see people kind of go, and automatically on Facebook, say for example, they start the comment off by Palace fan, like get it out there straight away, or Brighton fan, and there's some lovely comments and some beautiful banter, and it's like really good-natured banter, and I love it.
That's the whole thing about this rivalry and this pod, isn't it? That we can still get in the same room and have a natter and have a little bit of banter with each other about two rivals. Speaking of rivals, as we mentioned in the intro, we are going to talk a little bit more about the Palace and Brighton rivalry in part 2, so stay tuned. First, though, let's talk about transfers, shall we?
I think you should probably go first on this one.
Probably. You're probably right.
Now, have you signed anyone over the legal age of drinking?
Hang on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay. All this sarky banter already. How about we talk about the outgoings first? Let's get that out of the way. The one that we knew was probably going to happen has happened. At the time of recording, on the day of recording, Joao Pedro to Chelsea and Hove Albion for 7...
Very good.
Yeah.
Subtle.
7-year contract.
7 years?
Yeah, that's amortisation for you, as they call it. So £55 million, we reckon, with a £5 million plus add-ons. So 60 million if everything works out right, 55 standard in the back pocket straight away, which is nice. Thank you very much, Chelsea and Hove Albion. Wow. 7-year contract. Crazy, isn't it, that they can still do things like that? But
and he's the one that had the bust up with Van Heck, right?
Correct.
So, and you were like, get rid of him.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was like, you can't. Things like that just sealed it for me. There was obvious things going on. Look, he has been fantastic for us. I'm not going to lie.
Good player,
brilliant player, really good. We've doubled our money practically, and I'm pleased that it was all sorted relatively quickly. It comes to the 1st of July, it's done, dusted. Yeah. And it's clever that it happened at the beginning of July as well, because from our accounts point of view, that goes into next year's accounts. So we've got even more money to spend next year. Just a little point though, as I did say, Chelsea and Hove Albion, a bit tongue-in-cheek obviously, but Brighton could have built 3 Amex stadiums with the money that Chelsea have given us in the last 3 years. Can you imagine that? £282 million they've given us. So we're talking João Pedro, Marc Cucurella, Robert Sanchez, Moises Caicedo, and don't forget some money that when they took our whole coaching staff, including Graham Potter, our manager.
Yeah.
Overall, 15 people in the last 3 years, or 3 seasons really, have moved from Brighton to Chelsea. 15 people. Unbelievable, isn't it, really?
Oh, I mean, it's basically a direct debit, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? I just can't fathom, firstly, the scale of that, and secondly, how they haven't learnt from it.
What do you mean learnt from it?
Well, they haven't done very well, have they? If you look at Chelsea's success from since they've been poaching all of these 15 people, and how these 15 people have done since they've moved over, like there's been very few, I would say, huge success stories out of all of that.
Yeah. No, I take your point. They are buying young players, so you would hope that they would they would certainly hope they'll get better with age and that. But the immediate impact, no, I wouldn't say anyone's been fantastic. Cucurella probably is about the only one that you would say is probably playing to the level that we'd expect.
And he was one of the first ones, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a strange old connection between the two. It really is.
And also, it's that thing, innit? It's like, if they had any sense, they just buy the whole scouting network as opposed to each of the individual players. It literally just makes absolutely no sense to me. And I mean, they probably have bought half the scouting network.
Well, they have, yes. So they bought Paul Winstanley, who was our director of football and talents. He's now the director of global talents at Chelsea. Sam Jewell, who was our head of scouting, they bought him. John Tweedy, I think, was a youth scout as well. They took him. So, yeah, they tried to do all that. But obviously the one thing they can't do is the one thing that everybody wants to do in the Premier League, and that is buy our data analytics company. When I say our, Uncle Tony Bloom, owns a company called Star Lizard.
Okay.
Great name. And Star Lizard is essentially a data company that does a lot of our scouting at that first level straight away, of just looking at all the players across all of the leagues and working out who fits what we want from a data point of view. Obviously, there's more steps after that, but it helps us get all of these players that we're getting in so well. That's the first step. And nobody in the Premier League can have that because it's Tony's company and he gets to choose exactly who gets to use it. So perfect, isn't it? And that's why he's such a great owner as well, because he's a fan. He doesn't want anyone else to have access. I say anyone else. Ipswich do have access now. They have a contract with Star Lizard, but they didn't have it when they were in the Premier League. They weren't allowed to. So, it's a little bit of a head start. Other teams are trying to do that, and Brentford have tried to do it, and they're doing it quite well with a different company. But yeah, Tony is leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of teams.
Interesting concept, that, isn't it? Own a company that does data analytics on football players, and your 19 other biggest potential clients, you don't want them to be customers. Very, very interesting.
True fan. That's what it is.
Very, very interesting.
So look, anyway, João Pedro, he's on his way to Chelsea. He'll probably even manage to get a look in the Club World Cup. He's already gone over to America. So good luck to him. That's all I say. Good luck to him. Thank you for the times, and we appreciate your work, but off your pop.
And will he even play?
Who knows?
I mean, they've got the biggest dressing room in the country now, haven't they? Oh, it's unbelievable. What other news you got for us now?
Who else? Another out, but only a temporary out. So a season-long loan for our under-21s goalkeeper James Beadle, who was on loan last season at Sheffield Wednesday. He's now going back out on loan to Championship New Boys Birmingham City. So that's a really good move for him. Looking forward to seeing him in a blue shirt as well. So I think that's going to be a really, really good move. Championship again for him, second season in a row. So should gain a lot of experience.
Watch out, Birmingham. Beadle's about.
Hey!
That's a dated comment, isn't it?
Isn't
I think even before I was born. Anyway, carry on.
Can I get to the fun stuff now, the ins?
Well, I didn't think there was anymore because your owner, Uncle Bloom, whatever you want to call him, he told some porcupines, didn't he?
Well, I wouldn't say
he said it was over.
No, he just said he doesn't think we'll do much more business. That's what he said. And to be fair, we've had 2 new young youth team goalkeepers signed. So one I mentioned last week, that Nils Ramming, who signed from Frankfurt. We've also got another kid, Miles Dyke, who's 18 as well. Another goalkeeper from Treaty United, which is an Irish team. And
that's a new one.
It is, isn't it? They both go into the under-21 squad, so welcome to those guys. And then the one that I've been talking about for weeks, which we've just been waiting for it to be announced, suddenly we get to the beginning of July, and lo and behold, as of today, Olivia Boscagli has finally arrived.
That was only like an hour ago, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So the 27-year-old left-sided defensive player, centre-back, left-back, he's played, signs a 5-year deal. And Fabian Hertzler has said he's got a lot of experience with PSV and we like his versatility. He can play in several positions and we feel it's important to have these players in our squad. We are looking forward to working with him. Thanks, Fabian. So, yeah, busy day. This has all happened today, most of this. So it's been a busy day trying to make sure we were all on top of everything, really.
Oh, it's nice to see that you're signing some defenders so you can actually play some people in position next year. Do you know what I mean? Because that seemed to be your biggest gripe last year.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're strengthening in the area you need.
We definitely are, and which is really good news from us. Transfer-wise for Palace, how's it looking?
It's looking sparse. If it was a GIF, it'd be that kind of tumbleweed GIF. Like when no one replies on the group chat. Well,
we got outs, ins. What we got?
There's one out.
Okay.
Which hasn't even been announced by the club yet, but it's common knowledge. Which is Owen Goodman. Which is technically not an out, it's a loan, but he's just signed a new deal. Basically, He signed an extension on his deal, and he's now going to join Huddersfield Town on a season-long loan. So he's extended and he's gone straight out, literally all in one day.
Right.
He was at AFC Wimbledon last season. I'm sure you've probably never heard of him because he hasn't played for our first team. However, he is in that England setup in terms of the youth, but he hasn't kind of got to the number 1 spot yet, but he played their part on getting Wimbledon promoted to League One last season. He got the Golden Glove, 25 clean sheets.
Did he? That's really promising.
And he was named League 2 Player of the Season, and he had an XG prevented of 4.15. And those of you who know your XG stats, that's pretty epic.
That is actually very high. Yeah.
So he's definitely one for the future, and we clearly want to keep hold of him. But the thing is, though, it's like you just signed 2 keepers. You can only play one of them, right? And it's a tricky one, isn't it, for keepers?
It is. And I think with the goalkeeper sort of market, I do think it's a separate type of sort of business, really, getting goalkeepers. Yeah. They're very likely to be sold. They're very likely to go through certain ranks, youth ranks, and then get sold on because, as you just said, there's only one position that they can play in. But Brighton do a similar thing. We've got lots of goalkeepers on our books, and you end up with probably only 1 or 2 out of, we've got like 8, I think, on our books, that we know that are going to play. So it's a very different market, but, good luck to him. What was his name? Owen Goodman, wasn't it?
Did you say? Yeah. I think he's got a big future. He's got a big future, and I'm glad we're not letting go of him because you just never know, do you?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
All you need is 2 keepers to get injured, and then you're promoting your under 21 keeper, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely.
And we've got a couple of good little youth keepers in the ranks there.
Any ins?
Well, the short answer to this, Neil, is no. Obviously, with all the upheaval that's going on at the moment, there's no reason for anyone to come to Palace right now because of any stature, because they don't know what they're going to be playing or who they're going to be playing against. So I think that's basically why we've got this kind of period of stalemate at the moment. But one thing that I think we should talk about potentially. I'm still a little bit unsure about this one because I know you mentioned this before the podcast, which kind of gave me a bit of confidence to go talk about it. But Diamonde, we mentioned him. I look back, actually, it was actually 3 podcasts ago that I kind of said we were linked in the early days with him. It's the 21-year-old from Sporting Lisbon. There are rumours on this fine Tuesday evening, whilst the sun is still shining, to say that we have agreed a deal.
Yeah, and I looked into this as well, even though I really can't stand the idea of Palace buying any good players. But he's a bit of a beast, isn't he? And
he's a great player.
It does look fairly solid, I would say now. There's quite a few people that are tweeting about it, and a couple in particular that are very much in the know when it comes to Sporting Lisbon. So I think you're right, mate. I think it seems like it's pretty much nailed on.
BBC have said that it's done but not announced kind of thing. But I think that what's put me off is a lot of the local trusted sources out in Portugal, I believe. They're the ones that said earlier on this afternoon that the deal was pretty much at stalemate because we wouldn't pay enough money. However, BBC have just said a couple of hours ago that we've agreed to pay them £47 million, Neil. Wow. Let me just clarify that. £47 million.
That's a record, surely, for you guys, isn't it?
I mean, if you talk about where the record is and then where the roof is, we're through the roof, mate.
Benteke, wasn't it, was the original sort of record I think you held, transfer-wise.
About 32 mil for Benteke.
Right.
And then you got Nketiah for 30. And do you remember Sakho from Liverpool?
Oh, Mamadou Sakho. Mate,
He was epic. He was 26 mil. They were the previous, the top 3.
Yeah, okay.
So we don't tend to get involved in these big signings. We tend to go from the Championship and come up. What that tells me is Gay's off. We're going to get about 40 to 45 for him, and we're willing to spend 47 and basically break even, but still have a defender, right? As opposed to leave with nothing at the end of next year.
Yeah, totally. Do we have any clue of what sort of type of contract he's signing? Is it like a 3,
looks like 4? Looks like a 5.
5 year. That's a very good contract.
It looks like a 5. The problem with Palace, as a lot of the Palace fans will know, we all potentially do know a deal has been done. However, the Palace media team tend to spend a week recording a ridiculous video of them marching down the street or ordering a pint in the local bar or whatever.
It's just the way now, isn't it?
Which delays the whole process and just continues the anxiety for all the Palace fans of, when are Liverpool going to come in for him or whatever it would be. But I think it's done. But I'll be honest, you're more confident than me on this one because I still think, hang on, why would he sign if he doesn't know if he's going to be playing in Europe? But let's see.
And I think that might be the only reason why there's no announcement or anything. Yeah. I would say that it's probably just, as you said earlier, everything's just waiting on you know what.
But also, though, Neil, there's also another bit of a... you might have to help me on this because I've forgotten his name, but obviously Guéhi going to Liverpool, and obviously Liverpool have just sold
Gerald Quansah.
That's it, Quansah. That's just been announced, right?
Yes.
Funny enough, I think we all knew it happened, but it's been announced today. And obviously, it's funny now how all of a sudden the Diamonde situation has now kind of come to fruition today. So I wonder whether that whole kind of domino effect process has gone ding, 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 which is now why it's all happening. So, we'll talk about Gay later. But if that is happening, well done, Palace, because he's one of the brightest young defenders in Europe right now. And he clearly wants to come and play with Glasner. And also, Glasner's going to be happy because we put money in our pockets and reasonably early for us.
Well, if it does happen in the next week or so, I agree, it will be very early. So, as I say, everyone's just waiting around, aren't they, now, for something else to happen, like the whole UEFA thing. And, well, should we talk about that now? Do we have any news? We don't, do we? Is there anything you want to update us on or update the listeners on?
Yeah.
Oh, so, guys,
mate, honestly.
His face, look at you, his little face. Look at you. What is it? Go on, tell me. You can tell me.
I'm just really frustrated now.
Are you?
It's proper frustrating because all of last week I was waiting on that day. It's like I woke my son up on, I think it was Friday, wasn't it? Which was meant to be decision day.
When they said it was going to be announced.
Yeah. And said goodnight to my boy like the night before, and I was like, decision day tomorrow. Woke him up on the Friday morning. It's like, we'll find out today. He comes home from school. It's like Dad, are we playing in Europe? I'm like, well, we're not, but Palace definitely don't know still. And it's just so frustrating. Look, let's talk about the facts. What do we think we know right now? And the truth of the matter is, I don't know who knows anything, right? What we do know is there's been a statement. If you look into the media, everyone's saying different things. But as I said, we were meant to find out by the end of June, right? That was the date that UEFA said to us, we'll find out whether we're going to be swapping Croydon for Croatia on a Thursday night by the end of June, right? UEFA have now kicked it all the way down the road. Why? Because Lyon have basically got themselves relegated from League One, right?
Yes.
So, and this is, mate, it's just so many levels to this. But that was the news. A couple of days before we were meant to find out, it was, Lyon, also owned by Textor, have managed to get themselves relegated. And I'm like, how'd you get yourselves relegated? Like, what's going on here? And it's due to finances. Textor's obviously resigned from Lyon now as well as Palace. And the finances are about as stable as a three-leg table, Neil. It's genuinely appalling. And they're appealing that relegation, right? Which means that UEFA won't decide on Palace's European dreams until that appeal is done. Because the sources that I'm hearing are saying that why would UEFA make a decision about Palace when someone else can make that decision for them?
Yeah, it's a second-hand one, isn't it? They don't have to get involved. If their decision is upheld and they get relegated, because they're appealing it, as we said. So if their decision is upheld and they are relegated, UEFA don't necessarily have to make any decision whatsoever, because there now isn't any problem with Palace being in the Europa League, because Lyon will not be in it because they have been relegated, and they will have, part of that decision will be of them forfeiting their European spot. So that's it. It's fine. They don't have to make a decision in UEFA.
Apparently, though, it wasn't a prerequisite that they would forfeit that spot. It's an agreement that they've had this week that they would sit it out if they end up in League Two, due to the fact that they were able to appeal the decision and stuff. That was part of the deal, apparently. Yeah.
So the fact that they are appealing it, for me, I still think that their appeal might get upheld and they will still continue to be in Ligue 1, because I just think that what has happened to them is quite unique, really. And so I'm not sure whether it'll be upheld and they will go down. So if they do stay, if their appeal is heard and they do stay in Ligue 1, UEFA still have a decision to make. And I think it's a really unknown situation still. I can't believe that we are now early July. The appeal for Lyon is probably going to be another week, 2 weeks.
They reckon that the hearing's on Friday.
Right. So a decision maybe in 2 weeks, let's say. Let's say a decision in 2 weeks. Then, if that goes the wrong way, let's say, for Palace, then we're looking at UEFA then having to make a decision. Let's say they make a decision straight away because they know what their answer is going to be if Lyon come in. Let's hope they've planned ahead. And then, depending on what that decision is, someone, you just know it, either Palace or the Weasels in Nottingham are going to be taking UEFA to court, and they're going to have to go to the Court of Arbitration of Sport, because timings-wise, they can't go any other place. They've got to go there because it's got to be done quickly. We could be looking at the start of August. So we could be getting to the Charity Shield, or what is it called now? Community Shield. Crystal Palace playing, still not knowing if they're in Europe. Unbelievable.
Honestly, it is. It's like they put that statement out and it basically said, we'll get back to you, maybe, eventually. It's just utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just that whole kind of, it's the limbo land effect, and it's just like, let the Palace fans enjoy their achievement and let the club do what they need to do. And there is now rumours, Neil, of the Palace board taking UEFA to court now, saying that the lack of decision and clarity after we'd followed their process of being called into a meeting, decision, deadlines, etc. There's rumours now of Palace taking them to court, saying that delaying the decision is hindering our sporting chances, which it is.
I agree. We've been talking about this for the last few weeks now. It's like, when are Palace going to buy new players? When are they going to bolster their squad for the European journey? Players aren't going to want to sign until they know what's going on. It's clearly a problem for Palace. You know, I'm slightly loving it, but at the same time, it's not fair, is it? You know, it's not a fair way of dealing with these things. And
there's something else as well, Neil. That's
what
bugging.
now?
No, there's something else that's bugging me a bit.
Go on.
I think there's been a bit of meddling.
A meddler?
A meddler.
We've got a meddler. Who's the meddler?
Who do you think the meddler is?
Please don't tell me it's those weasels again.
It's Mr. Marankwakis. Yeah. It's a tricky one, this, because I first started thinking about this and I was like, nah, it can't be, Neil. It can't be. And
explain yourself.
The more that I thought about this, I was like, actually, maybe it is. Right?
What's he
Bear
done
with
now?
me, right? So Forest have recently signed 3 Botafogo players.
Yes.
For £35 million. When was the last time, Neil, that one club came in for 3 Botafogo players for 35 mil?
Yeah, that's...
When's the last time that ever happened?
Yeah, no, I get you.
Even Chelsea haven't bought 3 in one go off of you.
No.
Right? So now, bearing in mind, everybody, Botafogo, I'm sure you all know, is owned by Textor. Right? Yeah. So 3 players, and then Forest have just agreed a deal with who? Oh, yeah, Lyon, to buy Belgium international Fofana.
Right, okay.
Yeah? And the player's yet to agree terms, but apparently there is a deal. Now, Botafogo owner, Textor. Lyon owner, Textor. Lyon, what's the benefit to them? Oh, yeah, hang on. Lyon would end up going into the Europa League if they win their case. Right?
Yeah.
And obviously, there's people here right now that are potentially trying to help them do that, in my opinion, which is why would our good friend Marankwakis end up buying and doing business with his mate to try and get him out of trouble? It just seems a little bit something's not right.
I hear you. I do.
That's a coincidence, right?
I do hear you. I absolutely understand what you're saying. And you know, I'm not of a position here to say one way or the other, obviously. But what I would say is I do think you're starting to look a little bit jaded, Andy. I think you're looking a little bit tired of this situation and you're now looking for people to blame. And ultimately, the only people you can blame are UEFA for taking this long to make a decision. If they'd made a decision one way or the other a month ago, hell, 6 weeks ago, we could have been at least somewhere knowing one way or the other what would have happened.
Do you know what is interesting, though, is Textor. I thought quite a lot of him, actually, for quickly selling the club to benefit Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
2 days later, I realised that that's not what he'd done.
No.
He quickly sold the club because he knew that Lyon were in financial trouble.
Yep.
They needed the money.
Yep.
And he's ended up ruining 2 clubs now, potentially. But anyway, look, let's wait and see. What I can say for sure, Neil, is that this time next week, we'll sit here and we'll know absolutely all.
See you in part 2. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back, one and all.
Right.
I always find that weird, by the way, Neil.
What's that?
Because, here's a disclaimer. I listened to our own podcast in the car this week, right? A bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit like an artist listening to their own song. I just thought, do you know what? How much of an absolute fool do I sound on a podcast? And I realised that, when we go, we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. No one else goes anywhere, do they? We went out. We've been out for a nice coffee, bit of fresh air.
It's lovely, sunshine and everything, yeah.
We're welcoming people back and they're still sat in their car driving on the M25.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we'll carry on doing it though, because it's what people do.
Well, yeah, it's like, it's like TV, radio, it's all what everyone does, isn't it? The professionals.
We've got to do it, haven't we then?
Trying to be professional as much as we can.
Well, that's our promise to you, listeners. We will carry on welcoming you back, even though you've gone nowhere.
Welcome back. In other news, have we got anything we want to talk about? Albion today. It's been such a busy day, right? So yesterday and today.
What have you done now?
No, they've got two new kits.
Oh, I've seen one of these new ones.
Yeah, so we've got the home kit yesterday came out and everyone's a bit, I think, generally underwhelmed by it. But there's only so much you can do with blue and white stripes.
I was going to say, right, and this is me, and I'm not being horrible at all, right, because we have the same problem because we're red and blue stripes.
Are you?
Right?
Oh, I didn't know.
As you know. And the issue is how, if you go too creative, everyone's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And if you go too traditional, everyone's going, well, why am I buying that? Because I've already got one that's like that. And when I saw your one for this year, I did go, So what's new?
Yeah, exactly.
And what is actually new?
It's subtle. It's very subtle. There's more blue than white. Last season there was more white than blue. That's probably the only way to say it.
Okay.
It's just new design. The Nike swoosh is a different colour. There's a few different colours on the sides, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a blue and white striped shirt. You know, it's pretty classic. The away kit, however, came out today. I like it.
It's the pink one, right?
It's not pink, it's purple, thank you.
No, mate, that wasn't touchy.
Hang on.
That wasn't... I looked at it online.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pink.
No, it's purple,
right?
But it's like a two-tone purple, so it's like a pale purple with like a paler, almost lilac colour as well. And it's got what's different about it mostly, is apart from the colour, is the actual design of the shirt itself. So it's got one solid strip of purple all the way down the centre.
Yeah.
In one sort of thick line, probably about a foot wide, you know. And then the outside of that is like the slightly lighter colour. And they've moved the badge and the Nike swoosh right to the centre of the shirt.
Oh.
So it's all in a line. Like you've got the badge straight under the collar bit, and then the Nike swoosh, and then the American Express, obviously, sponsorship.
So that is actually your second kit?
Yes, that's our second kit, yeah. And then last season's away, the lovely yellow kit is going to become our third kit. So, but yeah, I looked at it today and it was really lovely. And there was a lot of comms about it also because we opened our brand new mega store at the Amex. They've been building it for the last sort of 6 months.
It's actually in the stadium?
So the club shop that was there had been expanded, basically, and it's now got like 2 floors, an escalator going up, selling a lot more stuff actually on the actual shop floor. I think there was always a bit of a problem trying to get all the stuff that you can see on the website in the shop. It was always a bit cramped. So,
mate, we couldn't fit an escalator in our shop.
Well, this is the
let
thing.
alone anything else.
They've made a few changes. They're making changes over the next 3 years to Brighton's stadium anyway. Obviously, we've got the brand new terrace that we opened up.
Yeah.
And we're making a few other changes. Eventually, what will happen at the Amex, I think in about 3 seasons' time, is the away fans are getting moved. Finally, so that Brighton can actually have both ends of the stadium to shout from. So yeah, it's hopefully they'll get moved. I think they're getting moved into the southwest corner eventually. Okay. So yeah, lots of things going on. But today, yeah, new away shirt. Yesterday, new home shirt. I'm loving them, to be honest. They're lovely, and the home one hopefully will grow on me. But yeah, it's still blue and white. It's not really a headline in that sense. Anything from a Palace perspective?
We're talking about shirts.
Yeah, you got
today.
A new shirt?
No.
Oh,
mate, we haven't got a new anything at the moment. But the trying to be positive. We have confirmed though, whilst everyone else is confirming signings and new shirts. We've confirmed that we're still working with Macron.
With who?
Macron, the shirt supplier.
I thought he was the French president.
Well, he is also.
Blimey.
Yeah.
He gets about and he's busy.
He is. Hopefully we don't end up with a pink kit though, like you. But yes, it is pink, by the way, everyone. Even your own fans on socials
purple.
Go in. I'm not sure about a pink kit, but however, it was 99% positive when I did scroll down. Pink. So, yes, we are sticking with Macron, which means that every Palace fan out there listening to this will understand that they do a great shirt for an athletic body, but if you've got any kind of belly or anything like that, you're basically... They don't do regular fit. Oh, then. Mate. These days, I would class myself... I'm probably a large, at worst, an XL on top.
Yeah.
On certain... Mate, I'm like 3XL in a flipping football shirt for Macron. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And that's not even the fitted ones. I've never seen so many X's in a shop before. Do you know what I mean? There's you got Peter Crouch walking in there if he was there, buying a 4XL. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. Anyway, let's not worry about that. So yes, no, we haven't got any updates on shirt, but we do know that there was rumour it was going over to Umbro.
Right.
Which has now been quashed.
Okay.
So there you go. What we do know, though, is that we're off to Austria.
Oh, for a holiday? Oh, Palace, you mean?
Yeah, I'd quite like to go to Austria, actually. We're doing a pre-season tour in Austria. We're not a tour, really, kind of a trip.
Okay, so you got some friendlies there, have you?
Yeah, we got 2 friendlies. Bundesliga opposition.
Oh, okay.
FSV Mons 05. Did I pronounce that correctly? Come on, Neil. This is where we could either cut it or you keep it going.
No.
Hold it together.
Oh, hold it together. So it's Mainz.
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 Yeah.
FSV Mainz.
Yep.
Do you actually say the 0-5 as well after it? Or?
No, I wouldn't bother. People just call them mines.
Mines.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you know what? Maybe we won't cut it out for educational reasons, because we have had this conversation about how I can't pronounce anything.
It's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So we're playing them on the 29th of July.
Yeah.
And then we're playing SV Augsburg. Augsburg. Augsburg? Come on, Neil. You got this.
Do you know what? I can't even be bothered. Yeah, let's just call them that.
Yeah, on the 1st of August.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we've also got open training sessions on the 28th and the 31st too, where the club seems to think there's going to be enough Palace fans to do an open training session in the middle of Austria. But I'm sure some people will turn up. So that's good. Obviously, Glasner's going back home, which is nice for him. And I think, even though I can't pronounce them, they're both very decent pedigree worth of teams. I think we played Augsburg in a 0-0 draw last time we played them. And the last time we were out in Austria, we won 11-0, I think.
What else? Anything else?
Season tickets. There's been a bit of news, actually, saying Palace have had 98% renewals for season tickets this season.
Blimey.
That's the highest ever rate that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Understandably, because of the success of last season. Also, they've already said a few little things to season ticket holders like, if you want to move to the main stand, you can't. Because there's not a single seat in the main stand that's available. That's where we're at right now.
Blimey.
So the example being, the reason I brought this up is I told everyone I was getting excited about the fact that it was renew your season ticket day. I've done that bit.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Thursday at 10 o'clock is renew your season ticket and swap it. So it's seat
in case
change
you want to
day.
move and stuff. Yeah, I did that 2 seasons ago. I did that. It was really good option for that.
Well, we did it because we were right next to the away fans for the first season. We had the season ticket. We moved over to the main stand, and then now we've been at the main stand for a couple of years. We are going to try and move, and my plan being is that I want an aisle seat, Neil.
Oh, okay.
Being to another couple of different stadiums recently, I've realised that actually you don't have to sit on top of the person next to you, and that's just a Palace thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just older stands, isn't it? Yeah.
It really is quite. So I think, if I can move on, I mean, whether I'll be able to get that, I don't know. We'll see. But I've got a moving block, so I'm going to try that tomorrow. We've also, mate, you've had a bit of success with your youngsters out in the internationals.
No, Andy, we've had success. We are England. We are England under 21s. Come on, enjoy it. We are European champions again. Second time in a row.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic, wasn't it? Did you watch the game at all? Did you see what happened?
No.
Oh, my God. Really?
I do support England, Neil.
Whatever.
I just didn't know it was on.
Whatever.
I knew they were in the final. I just forgot.
They beat Germany 3-2. It was actually a really close game. We went 2-0 up, and then Germany brought it back to 2-2, went to extra time, and Jonathan Rowe scored in the 92nd minute. And we ended up seeing it out 3-2. So we won again for the second time, as I said, in a row, which I think is even more a bigger feat than anything.
That doesn't happen often. And didn't Germany beat us a couple of games before that? In the same competition?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So
I do know what I'm talking about now. I did watch some of it.
Yeah, in the league format, we still both of us got through, and we managed to wreak revenge in the final, which fantastic. And you're quite right, Brighton boys, Jack Hinchelwood, James Beadle, goalkeeper, both played. Hinchelwood, after the first couple of games, first fixture missing out, he's basically played the whole of the tournament. At left back, another position for Jack Hinchelwood to play. Been fantastic. James Beadle, brilliant saves all the way through the whole thing. Really well deserved. Anyone that's a follower of Seagull Eagle X account will have seen the pictures I posted of Jack Hinchelwood the next morning, looking a little bit worse for wear, bless him.
Right. Can I just pull you up on this, please? Because can we not, on our episode notes, that we just kind of keeps on the straight and narrow here, refer to the Seagull Eagle X account as SEX account, please? Because I did wonder what on earth you were talking about.
I can see how that might be construed something different now. Apologies about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yes, Jack Hinchelwood definitely enjoyed his time. So did James Beadle. But the pictures that Harvey Elliott posted of Jack Hinchelwood the next day.
Saw that.
Oh, bless him. He'd really enjoyed himself. Let's put it that way.
As he should.
As he should. And then there were loads of rumours because Harvey Elliott was posting pictures of Jack Hinchelwood that somehow that meant he was coming to Brighton. I don't think that's happening, boys. I don't think that's happening. Sorry, everyone.
I think you'd be lucky for that to happen. But no, look, well done. I think that's a
England.
Huge achievement, 2 in a row. And do you know what? The biggest thing about all of this is them boys at that level are used to winning now, and they are used to tournament football, and they will be coming through, and it's exciting for the future.
I agree.
Oh, yes!
Right, it's now time for something a little bit different. Welcome to our brand new segment, Strange Footballing Rivalries. Each week we're going to dive headfirst into one of the football's weirdest, pettiest or downright baffling grudges. The ones that make you think, how did that even start? Because let's be honest, not every rivalry is about local pride or silverware, believe it or not. Sometimes it's about, I don't know, a stolen mascot, a dodgy pie, or someone parking in the wrong parking spot for 40 years. Strap in. It's time for Strange Footballing Rivalries, where we see who hated who and why it's still funny today. First up, Neil, I reckon we should probably talk about our own rivalry, because believe it or not, however many pods we're in now, we actually haven't talked about it.
It's a strange one, like all the others that we're going to talk about over the next few weeks, but it's the one closest to home. It's the one closest to our hearts. And I think for a lot of people growing up with this rivalry probably won't really understand the ins and outs of where it came from. They'll have heard something or know from a family member or something, but it's probably worth, like you say, talking about it. But first, what I thought I'd do is record a little clip to explain the history of Palace v Brighton.
Mate, I'm excited.
Shall I play it?
Let's do it.
Okay, have a listen, guys. Before the start of the 1975-76 season, Alan Mullery took charge of Brighton, just weeks after Terry Venables had been appointed at Crystal Palace. The two clubs were both in the third division at the time. Mullery and Venables had been teammates at Tottenham Hotspur and had a very friendly rivalry with one another, having fought for the captaincy under Bill Nicholson. And so the rivalry continued. Palace and Brighton had played each other plenty of times before the third division clash in October 1976. But this season, things would really heat up, as it would turn out to be the first game of an incredible 5 times they would play each other that year. It was to be a season that formed a rivalry forever.
But our main match today is from the third division, as the two top challengers, Brighton and Crystal Palace, clashed at the Goldstone Ground in Brighton. And from that game, the two young managers have already made quite an impact on the game. Alan Mullery of Brighton, Terry Venables of Crystal Palace. So, the introductions are over. Let's go off to the Sussex coast, to Brighton, on a cold, wet and blustery day, but also a day that brought out the crowds, though some preferred a view from the warmth of their own homes. But a 27,000 crowd, and where else in the world would you have that sort of appeal for a third division match?
So Brighton kick off in the stripes, attacking the goal to our left, and they are in the blue and white stripes against Crystal Palace, who are in a white strip with that diagonal red and blue stripe.
That particular game ended in a 1-1 draw, in a campaign where both clubs were looking for promotion to the second tier of English football, something they would both achieve at the end of the season. The teams met again a month later in the FA Cup and drew 2-2. In those days, the early rounds went to a replay, which ended 1-1 3 days later. That meant another replay, and that's where it all kicked off. The game had been postponed twice because of bad weather, and by the time it ended, the already bad blood between the managers and fans just escalated. Palace won the game 1-0, but profited from some debatable refereeing decisions, not least Brighton's Brian Horton being made to retake a penalty he had already scored for encroachment, even though it was the Eagles players who were guilty of the encroaching. Paul Hammond duly saved the spot kick and Palace went through. After the game, Mullery lost his temper with the referee, Ron Chalice, and also produced hand gestures towards the baying Palace fans after one particular fan threw a hot cup of coffee over him. He grabbed some change out of his pocket and waved it at them, shouting, "That's all you're worth, Crystal Palace." That animosity spilled out into the streets where Palace and Brighton fans clashed. And that was that. From that season onwards, the two clubs have hated each other and seemingly always will. In 1977, both sides were promoted, with Brighton changing their nickname from the Dolphins to the Seagulls, in direct opposition to Palace's Eagles moniker. Both teams met consistently, with the fixture becoming a source of bragging rights for the winner and the rivalry drawing in big attendances. Both Palace and Brighton were looking for promotion to the top tier and got it in 1979. During the 80s, the rivalry only got fiercer. Attendances dropped at Selhurst following Mullery's actual appointment as Palace boss, while in 1985, Palace defender Henry Houghton ended the career of Brighton winger Jerry Ryan, following a horror tackle that broke the Seagull's leg in 3 places. The incident was followed by violence between the two sets of supporters, and a clash in 1987 brought more violence. The rivalry continued through the 90s and the noughties. And then, in 2013, the two met in the Championship playoff semi-finals, with Palace coming out on top and booking their place at Wembley. There were rumours of trouble back in the tunnel after the game and suggestions of unprofessional behaviour in the changing rooms, allegedly leading to the then Albion manager Gus Poyet being dismissed for gross misconduct. Fast forward to the Premier League era and they've played against each other 16 times, with the draw being the most common result with 7. 4 wins for the Seagulls and 5 for the Eagles. And so, the rivalry continues. I wonder what will be next.
Wow, Neil. Thank you for letting me play the trumpet in this week's episode.
I thought you'd enjoy that. That was the old Big Match ITV coverage theme tune from the 70s. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I thought it made sense.
No, mate, do you know what? That is it's a really good explanation of it. And here's disclaimer.
Go on.
I learned something.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned something. And I've had to... We've had this conversation before, right? When you came to me and went, I've got an idea.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the first thing you said, was it? It was, what, when you heard it?
Yeah. And you went, I've got an idea, let's do a podcast. Oh, podcast? Oh, I'm up for that. What's it going to be? Oh, right, okay. Are you sure about this, Neil? Are you sure about this? We talked it through. And I think when we had that initial conversation... my brain went straight to, we can't do that. It's against the rules.
Yeah, no, I understand, yeah.
And then the conversation went further on, Neil, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think we were in the pub at the time.
We were.
And it was like, so why are the rules there? What are the rules? Why is, what actually happened? And all I could kind of remember off the top of my head was someone threw some money down somewhere and went, that's all you're worth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that, like, don't get me wrong, there was Palace and Brighton games before that, obviously, you know, and we didn't love each other, but there was no real, like, huge issues in that sense. There was a few things. But that moment or that season, and I think because we had to play each other 5 times in a season, that is unheard of nowadays. Obviously, that wouldn't happen with the amount of replays as well, a replay of a replay and all that. It just created more and more of an issue. And the friendly rivalry that was between the managers just turned into something so much more of a simple one moment of just heated response. And from that moment on, I mean, Alan Mullery's talked about it since, saying he can't believe that moment has turned into such a big issue, because actually for the managers themselves, they're friends, or they were friends, you know, and time moved on and they moved on and it was fine. But yeah, for us as Palace and Brighton fans, there's so much hatred still there. And
can I ask you a question, Neil?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Who are your actual rivals?
What do you mean by actual?
Well, not actual rivals. Like, if you were to have a derby or whatever it would be.
Good question, mate.
Is that not why? Well, this is what I was asking, because
what bases a rival really? What bases it? Most rivalries, because this is the whole point of this series that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. These are strange rivalries. These are things that you wouldn't expect. Most rivalries are based on geography. So there's Tottenham Arsenal. There's a team in the
Liverpool,
same
Everton.
Exactly. A team in the same city or as close as possible. Theoretically, our closest rival is probably Crawley. They're in Sussex, like Brighton are.
Well, can I put it to you, Neil? Can I put it to you?
Go on.
That Palace, right? It was always like Palace, Millwall, and all the other stuff. And I do dislike Millwall more than I dislike Brighton, if that helps, right? In terms of that style of kind of dislike. But can I put it to you that as a Brighton fan, you're struggling to find a rival and you've clung on to Palace as your next best attempt at finding a local club, because you got to go a long way to Bournemouth. You get and then it's
Portsmouth, Southampton.
Yeah,
I know.
I think maybe that's where some of this might have come from as well. It's not a natural down the road club that is been competing with you for a long time.
And this is my point, that it's not necessarily, ironically, even though we're talking about rivals, maybe it's not about rivalry. It's about strange situations that have clung and pushed two clubs together, fueled by some level of hatred. And over the years, it's turned into what it is now. And it's it's still going strong, but hopefully it's done in a grown-up way these days.
I love it. I think this is what the game is all about, is the truth of the matter. And can I do you know what? I just wanted to just give you a bit of feedback, if that's all right.
Feedback?
Bit of feedback.
Oh, hello.
I really liked your little kind of, I guess it's like a mini audio book, right? Your little clip. I loved it. Loved the trumpets. Loved the way you did it, the way you explained it.
Go on.
One bit of feedback is, I think you left quite a big bit of it, and you kind of, what's the word? Mold over it a little bit.
I know what you're going to say. I did that for legal reasons.
Can you just go back?
We're talking about 2013, aren't we?
We are talking about 2000. I just wanted to reiterate for me, if you could, what you said. Something about gross misconduct. Someone leaving, because it was gross.
Allegedly.
I don't know if it's alleged. I think it's fact now.
No, it's not fact. It's allegedly. No, it's allegedly.
I mean,
so our manager Gus Poyet was sacked, was released from his contract for gross misconduct, not for performances, because obviously we just got to the playoff semi-final, of which we lost, to Palace, which still hurts to this day.
And that was the Zaha game, right?
That was whatever you want to call it. But there was a situation that happened in the changing rooms, in the dressing rooms, in the tunnel. Lots of obviously unhappy people, but there is a suggestion.
He's still mulling over it.
There's a suggestion that
Poogate.
Where did you get that from? It's not called that.
Mate, it is.
Well, maybe on the Palace side.
Google
it's called
Poogate, see what comes up. A picture of Ian Holloway in a hat looking really annoyed. Like this year, I promise you now, Poogate is a thing, and it spurred us on to win that game.
Such a strange story.
Brighton were ridiculously stupid to have done that, because there's nothing that's going to inspire you more than someone doing that to your dressing room.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't the whole team. It was probably just one person that did that, whoever that person was.
Who was it, Neil?
We don't know, do we? We don't know. All we can say is it happens allegedly, and at the end of the season, Gus Poyet got sacked for gross misconduct. I don't know whether those two are connected in any way. All I'm saying is those two things happened.
Well, what I do know is that someone's bottom made a connection with the floor, and there was a large turd on the floor, which was rubbed against all the walls.
Stop it. We don't know
Time
that.
is it? No, we do.
No, we don't.
Over time.
That's your ex-manager talking about it. He could have made it up for dinner parties, all sorts. We don't know what it's about. We don't know
over
whether
time,
it's
the truth comes out. No. And if anyone wants a good laugh, Google the video Poogate, and Ian Holloway, the legend that is, gives you a wonderful explanation of what happened on that day.
We've moved on since then. We're all grown-ups. Remember that, Andy?
Mate, there's nothing better than fueling a rivalry than on your rival's dressing room floor.
And there you go. It still rumbles on.
Innit?
Even after all those
love
years.
I genuinely love it. And Neil is so scared about getting sued right now. It's brilliant.
I just would like a new episode next week. We don't want to get shut down. That's the end of our discussion, if you can call it that, on rivalry of Crystal Palace and Brighton and Albion. I would really love to hear your stories of how you grew up either hating the other team or how your family told you it went down. But that's as much as we know as to what happened with the rivalry. And that's probably going to rumble on for years to come, I would imagine. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. Now we're still in the same league and things are still happening. Well, let's hope it doesn't. Otherwise...
Well, I think now we're in the same league. I think it's just reignited it, isn't it? But I think also, like, just to kind of finish it off, it's like my son is 12, right? He doesn't like Brighton.
Yeah.
And you ask him why, he ain't got a clue.
No.
He don't know about some bloke 35 years ago throwing some money down. He doesn't even know about Poogate. He's too young for that. But what he does know is that we're not meant to like Brighton, because every time you go to a game... we're chatting about Brighton, even though you ain't there. So it's just one of these things great. It's never going to go away, and that's what's wonderful about football.
Right. I think it's almost time to say goodbye. Have we got anything else we want to talk about?
Only if there's any more transfer rumours. I think,
again,
a difficult one from a Palace perspective here, because we know right now on Wednesday... at 8 o'clock, that it's very much looking like Gay is off to Liverpool. Rumours are that he's agreed personal terms and that they're arguing over the fee. We know that Palace don't want to lose him on a free, and we know that Palace turned down pretty much £70 million from Newcastle in January. We talked about it last week. I think we're probably going to get somewhere around the 45 for him, which would mean that Diamonde, as and when he does come in, if he does, then... you're pretty much getting a like for like in terms of money, and hopefully a younger and kind of exciting player to go with it as well. So Gay, Neil's just checked his phone.
I have just checked my phone and I have got the greatest news. I don't care what you were talking about, Andy. I need to stop the pod.
Has it been proven that Poogate was in fact... Oh, no, we're not allowed to say
We're not
that.
even talking about that anymore, mate. We've
Okay.
moved on to something amazing.
Go
right?
on. This better be good now.
For me, it's the greatest news of the season so far.
You putting an eagle in your chest?
Just listen. Just everyone listen.
Okay.
Sky Sports are reporting, this is breaking news. I'm going to do my Sky Sports bit now. Sky Sports are reporting that Karu Mitoma wants to stay at Brighton and sign a new contract. I'm literally almost in tears. Karu Mitoma is actually going to stay at Brighton. The Brighton winger has told the club he wants to extend his current contract with the club, which still has 2 years to run. As I said last week, if Karu Mitoma stays, that is the greatest piece of business we can do this whole summer. That is now being reported on Sky Sports News. Come on!
Neil keeps looking at me for a reaction as if I'm going to join in on the celebration. No, do you know what, mate?
Your lack of reaction is my joy.
No, mate. That's a result for you, and that's genuinely brilliant. And I was actually going to say something earlier about this, because I noticed in doing some research for the pod, he's still kind of throwing
dancing
his hand in the air and doing weird things. I did notice that you'd released a picture of your new kit with him wearing it.
Yes, and
So I was going to say something in a minute about that.
And I put a post on our X account as well, actually saying, he's in the picture. Surely Brighton don't do this to us. Come on. And
I think that was a little leak, wasn't it? That was a little sneak preview. No, I'm pleased for you. That would be the equivalent, from a Palace perspective, of Eze staying.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you.
Sorry,
mate, for interrupting everything, but that is literally hot off the press. That is now happening.
That's
good
news.
When this podcast goes out, people won't be going, what about Mitoma? Why didn't you talk about Mitoma? Guys, it's been reported he's staying.
That's great news, and I'm really pleased for you. Unless, of course, he does over Palace, then I'll be really annoyed. But I'm happy for anything that makes you happy. I'm happy.
See, and that's what's about this rivalry. It's good fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Back to you, mate. I apologise for interrupting.
All right.
You were talking about...
Oh, it was miserable, Neil. It was absolutely miserable. The fact that you kind of brought some kind of joy to this podcast is enough. Because basically, Gay is going to Liverpool. I know he is, and good luck to him. I wish him all the best. I genuinely do. That's that one.
Fair enough. Let's talk about it more, obviously, when it does happen.
Yeah.
But it does look likely, doesn't it? And there's another one that looks pretty likely as well, isn't there?
Well, it looks like Eze is off to Arsenal. The club that put him into tears when they let him go in the academy years ago.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I think he quoted, he was saying, "I cried for a week." So
he'll be crying more now when he comes second in the league.
Well, mate, I mean, that's what they're going to do, isn't it? But he is an Arsenal fan. And look, it's a bit like your philosophy, which is attract the good players, let them go when the price is right. And look, ultimately, we all thought Eze was going to go last year.
Yeah.
We all thought that. He clung on again, and he's done us proud. He is inconsistent. Right, he was consistently on the way up at the end of last season, but he is inconsistent. And I think we could get someone in there who is more consistent over a longer period of time. I don't discount anything good he's done for us, and I love the guy. I think he's a brilliant footballer, and he's done wonders for our club. But I don't think he's the irreplaceable player long term that the media is saying that he is. And all the best to him at Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree.
If he goes.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. I totally understand your point. And yeah, it is the same view, isn't it? Like if you get to a player, we had it with Pascal Gross last season.
Yep.
You know, he grew up wanting to play for Borussia Dortmund. He got the opportunity to do it. You've got to go and follow it, haven't you?
And mate, he's got a Champions League clause, so he's got the opportunity to leave now. And we'll get really good money for him. I think like it's with 65, 68 mil, something like that, I think is being banded. This is the one that would upset me the most, but also it is what it is, and I think it's going to happen.
Last week, I put out a poll on our X account to see what people thought about Eze leaving, and just sort of checking like how much of the Crystal Palace fan base actually would want him to stay or go, just to sort of try and understand, you know, what we're talking about. And 78% of Crystal Palace fans wanted Eze to stay. So everyone, you know, the vast majority of people are the same as you. Even though there's money being thrown at it, they want him to stay. So it's going to be a big deal when he does leave. I totally understand that. And, you know, you just have to hope that Palace have got a plan to get somebody in.
There's been rumours, a lot of rumours, and this is why, truthfully, I'm not talking about it.
No, I agree.
There's so many different names mentioned, none of which have got any substance, Neil. So I think we leave that there, because what this could end up turning into over the next 6-7 weeks is Andy talks about Gay and Eze leaving. And I don't really want it to turn into that. And if he does, honestly, I wish him all the best.
The good news is that I do the editing, so you won't have to talk about him every week. I'll just cut it out. I don't really want to listen to it either. So
rude.
Anything else from Palace side, transfer rumours?
No.
He's so forlorn, bless him.
I'm the miserable one this week, aren't I? This is like your horrible losing run where you've failed to even put a smirk, let alone a smile on for 4 weeks.
It's been a good week, Andy. It's been a good week.
I'm the miserable one. I mean, we haven't even been kicked out of Europa League yet. No, it's not happening. Go on, Neil. Go on, cheer us up by telling us who's leaving Brighton.
No, I haven't got any real big transfer rumours. The only one that's been floating around last couple of days is just a loan, not anybody else leaving or buying. So we're looking at possibly, it's a bit of a surprise, but Facundo Buonanotte, who's one of my favourite players for Brighton, who was on loan last season at Leicester, didn't get much of a look in when Van Nistelrooy came in, but he had a really good start to the season with them. He's still only 20 years old. It looks like, I thought he'd be coming back to play his part, but I think without Europe and not those extra games, it looks like they're going to put him out on loan again. And most definitely they'll go to send him to a UK-based club as well. I say UK, English. So it'll have to be an English Football League club. And one of the reasons I found out that would be the case is because if they loan him out to an English team, so Championship, Premier League, whatever, as long as it's an English team, he will then qualify as a homegrown talent.
Okay.
In the way that all the groups, all the squads work out when it comes to UEFA and things like that. So moving forward, if we do get into Europe or anything, he will be looked upon as a homegrown Albion player, which is really good when it comes to suddenly when you're looking at the quotas, especially with our squad. You think about how many foreign players we've got.
Yeah.
You know, having someone like him who we've had since he was 18, he would have had 3 full seasons in the English leagues. It means that he turns into a homegrown talent. So I can understand why they're doing that. Look, that's the only thing that's floating about, apart from the obviously breaking news, and I'll say it one last time, that Sky Sports News are reporting that Kaoru Mitoma is now staying at Albion. So hopefully that comes true, but usually when it means those guys are reporting it, it sounds pretty standard to me.
That's a statement, mate. That is a statement, and that's you guys. You've done some early business. You've retained Mitoma. You got rid of the Fight Club, Pedro, and Chelsea have paid you more money. I mean, you've had a great week.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Roll on next week and Palace being kicked out of Europe. Anyway.
Oh, Neil. And I think on that note, Neil, that's us done for another round of Seagull Eagle Mayhem.
A massive thanks for sticking with us. We genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for putting up with our absolute nonsense.
Make sure you hit that follow so you never miss an episode.
We're also lurking on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and the artist formerly known as Twitter. So come find us for a bonus clips, extra bickering, and the occasional meltdown.
Got an opinion, a rant, or a transfer rumour that your mate's uncle overheard in the pub? Send it to us at seagulleaglepodcast@gmail.com. We absolutely love hearing from you.
And we'll be back next week with more transfer drama, bigger opinions, Palace getting kicked out of Europe, and probably a few arguments we'll regret immediately.
Including one now. Until then, up the Eagles!
Seagulls!